J.C. Penney building. And then we also have 2 villages, tiny house villages in Tukwila, Miracle Tiny House Village with the church, as well as Riverton Park Village, which you've all heard about because we've been housing lots of asylum seekers. And we have a house in Tukwila that provides housing for a homeless family. And then June Leonard Place, which is in Renton, May Valley Mobile Home Park, and then Benson East is one of our past projects in Kent. And I forgot to mention, we also have another project we provided, which we developed Watson Manor for the Kent Youth and Family Services. Now, in terms of upcoming projects, we are hoping to work with the city of Tukwila on a new tiny house village, possibly at the church by the side of the road. And then we are looking at some rehab needs at White River Garden. And we are really open to additional preservation or new construction in South King County. Next slide. And then we were asked to look at challenges and, you know, what challenges do we have in South King County? And the picture you see is June Leonard Place. And that is a mix of homeless vets, low-income families with children, and also homeless families with children. And then you can see at the bottom picture is Auburn Manor, which is a HUD. Every unit has Section 8, and that's family housing. So what we've seen in terms of challenges is that whatever communities can do to lower the parking requirement would be really helpful. Because especially when we're doing infill housing, it is very, very difficult to try and meet, you know, like sort of parking requirements, especially for homeless families and very low income families. The car ownership is a different ratio. And so we've looked at sites where this is a great site, but we can't find all this land for parking. And then in some cases, it's unclear as to the code and timing for permits. I think some communities, we're very grateful because the permits get approved very quickly. But as an example, in Skyway, in unincorporated areas, I think it's almost like we don't have certainty as to how long it would take King County to approve permits. Design review is another factor. Different jurisdictions want a lot of detail and are very prescriptive. And some others are, you know, we tend to hire very good architects. So we feel that we do a lot of design review ourselves. And so, you know, we're open to discussion about how far design review can be helpful. And then the other thing is that King County's area median income is very, very high. And so we know that it's very different when we're working with certain suburban areas or, you know, the population cannot afford the tax credit rents. So we have to look at potential subsidies or partner with a housing authority because the income limits are too high. TOD funding requirements often require that you develop like 90, 100, over 100 units. And I think in some cases, many of the communities would like to see smaller scale buildings and also public transportation, bus headways and things like that are not as easy to find. And then we're dealing with very high construction costs. And so it almost, even though land costs might be less, the construction costs are still about the same as, you know, working in like a high cost city. Next slide. Skyway mixed use. So I'm happy to talk about this. I wasn't sure, Victoria, did you want to lead this discussion?
Yes, sure. I'd love to give a bit of context to the history of this project. Child Haven, now akin, gave us a bit of invited us over to their Skyway location in 2023 and wanted us to take a look at their site that they wanted to redevelop. but unfortunately, because of an incline on their lot, we could not build there. But we were very excited to form this partnership, and Sharon, with her eagle eyes, spotted this plot of land that was across the street, um, that was vacant at the time, right next to the 7-Eleven, and that's how this project came to be. Um, and it has evolved a lot since 2023, but right now we are looking at 54 units of affordable housing, with almost half of the units for families. Um, we will be serving households that are exiting homelessness, and that includes singles and families. Um, and on the first floor, um, Child Haven, which is now akin, will be running an early learning center that will serve ECAP students. There will be 4 classrooms that will serve about 80 students total. Here is a little deeper dive into the unit mix that we have for this building. Large family units are 3+ bedrooms, and that the 3 bedrooms are sitting at about 20% of the units. And together with the 2-bedroom units, we are serving families in about half of the units. Yeah. And that's a picture from our ELC at the Tony Lee Apartments up in Seattle. This is a satellite image of the project site. The big portion is made up of 3 different parcels. Right now, we have that little parcel in between. We tried to reach out to the owners of that parcel to see if we could have a contiguous site, but that was not possible due to pricing issues. As Sharon mentioned, parking requirements are a big part of the challenges that we face with building in South King County. We had to purchase another parcel to provide enough parking based off the code in the area. I will say, though, we have found that King County is making a lot of changes that are really beneficial to affordable housing, especially the new comp plan changes that were approved last year, that allows for affordable housing to have much reduced parking requirements. And we're really grateful for the partnership from the county there.
Okay, so I want to just set the stage here. So you could see the 7-Eleven is on the left and the building footprint, and you will see that we have parking next to the building, and then we also have open space, which is childcare, early learning, outdoor play area. And then you can see the parking, the extra parking is all the way to the right. Next slide. So here you will see the shaded area is the early learning facility. You'll see 4 very generous classrooms, as well as there will be an entrance in the back of the childcare facility and an entrance in the front of the childcare facility, depending on if people are walking to the site or parking and dropping off, which they can on the back. So this has been a joint effort with Akin. And so because of the early learning facility, we've had to leverage additional specific early learning funds, because the housing funds we've obtained, it's like we have to segregate the costs between the 2 uses. And then on the lower right, you will see the entrance with the vestibule to the housing. And you'll see offices for leasing, and there's also, mail room, elevator, trash, back of house, bike room. But you will see a common room, which we think is very innovative. The common room can be used both for the residents and also, depending on the needs of the early learning facility. So it's like joint use. So this was something we worked with the architects to make sure that, like, maybe during the day, the early learning could make more use of the common space. In the afternoons, evenings, weekends, then our residents will have more of a use for that space. So we think that it's a efficient, very efficient use of space. Next slide. And then, as Victoria said, we have one bedroom studio, one bedrooms, twos and threes. And we also are looking at, I think for the 3-bedroom units, we are looking at 2 bathrooms or 1.5. So this is, and you see the elevator core and the stairs. Next slide. And then and this is the financing piece. I want you to notice that if you look at the rendering, next to the parking, which is in the back, we're showing you the back of the building, there is a children's play area, and that's specifically for the licensed preschool, licensed, childcare facility. But you'll see a second deck, and the second deck includes a community space and outdoor area for the residents. So there's actually 2 levels of open space. And then what we see in terms of funding, the total development budget, you'll see the breakout for the residential and the early learning center, and then the public funds. We recently got additional funding from King County. Thank you. It just got announced, I think, yesterday, day before yesterday. And then South King County, which is, thank you so much, South County. And then the State Department of, the Housing Trust Fund also recently notified us about an award. And then Representative Adam Smith also put us in the transportation HUD, the T-HUD budget at the federal level. So we do have a designation from, in the federal government, and then we're making use of 9% tax credits. In addition to that, we also have foundation funding and construction funding. We're happy to answer questions, after this presentation. So you can see how many sources it takes to fund this. And we also got extra funds from the state for the early learning facility. Next slide.
Oh, I'll just jump in real quick. The ELC funding includes PASTA funds, which are another public source that we're really grateful to have, and also state ELF funds on the early learning side. Okay, the latest updates on this project include the next steps that we'll be taking. Akin is heading up our building naming process, and it's pretty unique for this project. We will be taking community feedback on potential names. We know that Skyway has a deep history with several communities. It is a majority minority neighborhood, and we wanted to make sure that all the stakeholders in the area were had a stake and a way to make this building their own. We have a couple of answers from the community already. We think it'll be named for a community leader, but please stay tuned for where we land there. As for the design timeline, we will be submitting permits to the county in March. So that will be a very exciting milestone. We are actively working with permitting staff and staff at DCHS to help help put some pep in the step for this project when it comes to getting permits in time to hopefully, we'll hopefully hear back from the tax credits anytime now, and then that will really kickstart everything. Funding, I think our goal this year is to get fully funded for the Early Learning Center. When we hear back about the tax credits, we should be fully funded. So our focus will be to fill any gaps in the ELC, on the ELC side. Right now, we are about 2/3 funded there. And other next steps would include, we are talking through a process to RFP for general contractors, and that's another big milestone for when we have someone, we have a contractor doing cost estimates, but we're excited to get the best price possible for all of our projects moving forward. Sharon, anything else?
No, it's good. Great. We
Great.
can't wait to do the groundbreaking. How's that? Next
Oh,
next
yes.
slide.
And share colorful pictures, renderings. Now we would like to open up time for any questions, and we'd like to thank everyone for your time.
Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Victoria. Does anyone have a question for either of them?
Yes, I do.
Okay, yes, please, go ahead.
Hi, this is Dennis Martinez. I'm a council member for City of Tukwila. I have a couple of questions. One, you mentioned in your presentation and in your handout, you have 5 hotels purchased. Can you tell us the locations of those?
Oh, yes. One of them is we purchased a Comfort Inn in the city of Tacoma, and we renamed it Aspen Court. And that is housing, currently housing homeless vets. And it's in the process of being converted to permanent supportive housing. And then we have a Days Inn that we purchased in Lacey in combination with Thurston County, City of Lacey, and Olympia. And then we purchased a Candlewood Suites, which is in Lakewood. And that was with partnership with the state. And then we purchased a hotel on Whidbey Island. And then let's see. Yeah.
The Oasis Inn is the last one.
And then we purchased Oasis Inn, which is also in Tacoma. And that will be a very innovative program that has short-term and long-term medical respite, as well as permanent supportive housing and enhanced shelters.
Thank you. Then I have a couple additional questions. The Tukwila House, you mentioned the Tukwila House in your presentation. That's just a single family use, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And the future site of the tiny home village in Tukwila by Church by the Side of the Road, how is that progressing, and when do we expect, or when should we expect to see that up and running?
Well, we recently had a meeting not that long ago with the mayor, and we've been talking with I think the human service planner. Is his name Brad or Brent? Anyway, so it's still in the process being discussed as something, and the church, but the pastor at the church is very interested in hosting the village.
Yes, I know Pastor Proctor is very
Yes.
interesting. I just didn't know whether it was in the review process or permitting process, or that's what I was asking.
Right. Well, I think we are still waiting for the mayor and the staff to make a final decision on the setup budget and the operation budget.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then I have one last question. It's regarding the last presentation about the picking the general contractor for the upcoming facilities that you're going to have built. Now, is there going to be a community work agreement with that general contractor there?
Community work agreement. I think we are following the King County and state requirements for wage rates, as well as apprenticeship participation, as well as WIMBY goals.
Okay. And the reason I ask is because a lot of times, most of these developments are put in, disadvantaged community areas, and, community hire work agreements are what I look at. So that's why I was asking the question, but I appreciate the answer, Sharon. Thank you. That's
Thank
it.
you.
Any other questions? Don't see any hands raised. If I'm missing you, please just go ahead and shout out. But I think I've taken a look at everyone. Yes, Victoria. Did you have your hand up?
Thank you. Yes, I'm having
Yes.
my format has kind of changed, so my buttons are all over the place. Anyway, sorry about that. I was kind of curious about. I saw the green roof in your design on one of the design plans, which I thought looked really. It caught my attention, and I love that you're incorporating environmental elements in this. And I was wondering, does that from a standpoint of benefiting the residents, does that do anything with cooling costs or anything like that? Are there other benefits that I don't know about besides just obviously it's good and it's green for the planet?
Well, we've been following the Evergreen Development Standards, which is a pretty aggressive checklist of various items in terms of being energy efficient, being as green as possible. So we know that the residents are going to have very low utility costs. Now, in terms of most of our roofs will end up having solar, like maybe, if it's even when it's a usable roof, part of it will have solar and part of it might have, green, like drought tolerant plants on it, right? So I think, I don't know, Victoria, I'm not sure how far the architects have gone on the design of this one, but we have in multiple locations used like a whole vegetated green roof. Yeah.
I'm happy to see that. Thank you.
Other questions? All right. Well, Victoria and Sharon, thank you very much for the update. It's great hearing about all of the good work that you're doing.
We want to thank all of you for your support. It was crucial to hopefully getting full funding very soon. Thank you so much.
Luck.
Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. All right, we will move on to item 6, board business, and that will be the 2025 state legislative update. And Dorsal, I think, who is going to monitor those during the session, is on vacation today. I think he deserves that. And so Claire is going to present the legislative update to us today. Claire?
Thank you, Chair. So can you all see these slides?
Yes.
Wonderful. So the 2025 state legislative session is upon us. And as a reminder, the Executive Board has directed SKIP staff not to lobby on behalf of SKIP for any particular bill or our legislative priority. And in previous years, we have served more as a resource for state lawmakers as needed to ensure awareness around SKIP's work, especially as it relates to the Housing Capital Fund and the funds that you all pool together. So given that we have heard feedback from you, the board, that being aware of some of the bills out there related to housing and land use is helpful so that you can take this information back to your respective jurisdictions and talk with your folks there and also your lobbyists. So during each state legislative session, Dorsal will be tracking the bills related to housing and presenting these at our monthly meeting. And he is on vacation. And so I am here today to just quickly go through them. And we'll do that now. So looking at our legislative priority, this is the one we talked through just as a reminder that we all kind of agreed on and developed together. But basically, South King County is facing a growing affordable housing crisis. And in order to address this crisis, we need to fund all aspects of affordable housing. And those are listed on the slide. And regarding the timeline, so you may be aware, session started earlier this week. This is a long session, so sine die will happen in late April, April 27th. And as you've likely heard, the state is facing a budget shortfall of around $13 billion over the next 4 years. So Governor Ferguson has indicated his interest in seeing budget reductions across the board. So this will be a tough year for those budget writers and decision makers. So the next 7 slides, it's a lot, are the bills most relevant to the board, and I'm not going to go through them, but this was included in your agenda packet last Friday. The status updates on these slides, I put in, updated them yesterday, but if you click on these links here in your PDF, it'll take you straight to those bills. And for those that
So Claire, we're not seeing any screens. Were you intending to have screens?
Oh, I see it.
oh,
Yeah.
I see them as well.
On the okay. Well, I'll see if I can figure it out for I just see everybody's squares.
Oh,
I'll
So if you go to your upper right-hand corner, you can choose to either see in gallery mode or speaker view, and speaker view is probably the best for presentation mode. It's right next to what looks like the speaker on your top right-hand corner, possibly. At least that's how it appears on my screen. And then you'll see kind of what looks like a window or sorts or a square.
yeah, it should
yeah,
say.
when I pick gallery view right now, I just see Nancy. She's my whole screen.
Well,
I'll
that's
figure it
scary.
out.
that's a
Something
bummer.
I'll figure it out.
I'm sorry. In summary, really though, the bill numbers listed are hyperlinked. So when you do click those, it'll take you to that bill summary page at the legislature that they manage. Lots and lots of bills to go through. And just scrolling through, I think we have 7 slides of them, and these will, kind of fall off as we go, but some are already being having executive sessions scheduled for them and being voted out of committee. So that's all I have on the legislative update.
There was one bill that was dropped yesterday that may have some significance to this group, and I'm not sure you would have even had a chance to put it on there, but it's House Bill 1380. I think. See it on there. It was dropped by Mia Gregerson, and it's on encampments and litigation.
We'll add it to our bill tracker.
Yeah, I think this one will be of significant interest for every city because it would put a liability on every city to be able to prove that they have enough shelter space for anyone who they want to trespass off of public properties or an encampment. So definitely one that everybody is going to want to be watching. And there is, I think the first hearing is next week, the 21st, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah,
21st at 4.
At 4.
Mhm.
I know I'm signed up. I believe Eric Zimmerman is signed up. And right now it looks like 30 people have signed in pro, but not testifying. And there are 2 testifying so far, and that's Eric and me.
And I'm sorry, Mayor Backus, which bill is this?
House Bill 1380.
Thank you so much.
Mhm. All right, are there any questions for Claire on the legislative update? All right, well, we will move on then to our 2025 calendar for our board meetings, and that should be in your packet. We have the 3rd Friday of every month scheduled, and we have 4 in person, as we had talked about, 1 each quarter. As you can see, March 21st, June 20th, September 19th, and December 19th, all in person. And just wanted to make sure that you had all of those. Please block them out on your calendar. I know calendars get filled up fast, and at the beginning of the year, if we don't put on those standing meetings, somebody may take that time from us. And we want to be able to meet with all of you as often as we possibly can. So if you could please, if you put the times on your calendar, if you could do that and block them out, or if you have someone in your office that does that for you, please ask them to do that so we can get them on the calendar. Does anyone have any concerns or issues with any of those dates?
The one item, Chair, that I would mention for folks maybe to look, take a second look at is June 20th. It is the day after Juneteenth, the holiday. So, but June 20th is a work day. So I'm not sure if folks will be, if in town and have plans, but that is one of our in-person meeting days. So
It's also the U.S. Conference of Mayors, so there are a few of us that won't be there for it in person.
So it may be worth it for us to look at the week before. The week after appears to be the AWC conference in Kennewick. And so, we may send around a survey to see if that June 13th date might work to reschedule, or if folks want to keep the June 20th. But
Okay. Any other concerns from anyone? All right, well, we'll move on then. And next, we'll talk about the 2026 work plan and 5-year plan survey. So in March, we're going to start working on the annual work plan for next year. And we'll also begin conversations about Skip's 5-year plan. And the start of the process will be a survey, which I think Claire and Dorsal have been working on, and other members of the staff work group perhaps, to help inform the conversation at our first in-person meeting for the year, which is March 21st. And
Yeah,
there is, oh, go ahead.
So, yes, so I will drop the link in here in just a couple minutes. But as the chair was mentioned, every year about this time, I do ask for your feedback through a survey to tell me your thoughts as we begin developing the annual work plan. And so it will be for the 2026 work plan. So in addition, as I've mentioned to several of you in our check-ins and in our one-on-ones, we will be diving into developing a 5-year plan with strategic objectives this year at our in-person meetings. I'm very excited about this work. And this is really sort of the first step in that is getting some of your initial ideas down on what you want SKIP to look like in 5 years. And what services you would like us to offer. So in preparation for this work to begin at our March in-person meeting to discuss the 2026 work plan and the 5-year plan, we put together this survey. So some of you have already begun working on it. It was included in your agenda packet last Friday, so thank you if you've taken a look. But fear not, we have allotted some time for you today during the meeting because I know you are all very busy. And so my hope is that you can take about 15 minutes during this meeting to start thinking through your answers. If you want to kind of think about it, jot some ideas down separately, talk with your either your staff work group or your planners, other elected officials as you answer these. My request would be that you complete the survey by the end of the day next Friday. That's the 24th, I do believe. That would be very helpful. And I will put the link in the panelist view so that really only the board member should, I would say, be the primary responder for this unless you've talked with the primary board member. So those folks that are alternates today, feel free to share this information with the primary board member, and that would be very helpful. So let me share this
Claire?
with you. Yes.
Is this something that you could also email the board members I mean, Zoom's going to end, and just in case somebody goes, oh, I can't
Didn't
go.
you already email the link, Claire?
Yeah, I
this
feel,
week? Okay.
I figured if it's already
That's the
an email,
same survey, right?
Yeah.
The survey that this is the same one that you're talking about that you emailed already?
It's the, yes, so the link
Okay,
good.
is included in your agenda packet sent last Friday, January 10th at 5:15 from me. So there should be a short paragraph at the end. It says, click the link here. So you should see that. And I will put this in the chat as well for folks. And you should not be prompted to put in your email. It should not connect to your personal Gmail account or anything. So if it does, please let me know. But we tried to work out those kinks this year. So if everyone who intends to fill this out could let me know with a thumbs up or a I'm having issues, that would be helpful.
It still is connecting to my personal Gmail for some reason. It's not asking me to put it in, but it does have it in there. And then the option is to switch account.
Can you try opening an incognito window?
I think that's what we did last time, but I just wanted to clarify that at least for me, it is going straight to my Gmail, oddly.
So our instructions should be open an incognito browser window and then try copying this link into that, and that should address that. Let me know if it doesn't. Yes, Maria.
Let me double check. It's okay if we want, because I did want to sit on it and kind of talk to some of my colleagues and everything, you're fine with me not completing it today, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I can't get it to work. It did work last time, so I'm not worried about it. Why it's not doing. It'll be fine.
Thumbs
Let
up.
us know if you do have problems with it, Christina, so we can
Mhm.
Yeah,
get you some help.
it's fine. I will, it worked last time we did this. My browser is being strained right now. I'm not sure.
It's Friday, it's tired
Yeah.
too.
It's also on vacation, probably.
Yeah.
Are folks in a decent place? Should I start the timer?
Go ahead, Claire. Go ahead and
Alright.
start the timer.
Thank you.
And if you want to turn your screen off while you're doing that. And how 15 minutes, Claire, is that what you're
Yep.
providing?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, if everybody could come back on. All right, everybody getting some good work in there? You're feeling pretty good about it? Good. All right, and Claire, what kind of a date do you want on everyone completing?
If possible, by next Friday, January 24th. If folks need additional time, that's fine. Just let me know. Is Jan-
Well,
Does
oh, go
that
ahead.
work for everyone? Or do you need more time?
Everybody seems to be good with that.
Thank you.
Okay. Then let's move on to general updates. I think Claire has quite a few she wants to share with us today.
Yes, there are always a lot of updates, aren't there? There's a lot going on. Well, first I want to let the board know that we do have 2 long-serving board members leaving us, or who have actually already left us, one of them. So Tracy Buxton is going to be stepping off, representing the city of Des Moines. We just wanted to say thank you for your many years of collaboration and support here at SKIP. And it's been a pleasure working with you. In her place will be Catherine Caffrey, who's the city manager for the city of Des Moines until they're able to find a more permanent SKIP board member.
Tracy,
Could I
thank
just
you.
say, it was a super hard decision. I love this space and the education I get here and the ability to affect, what we're doing in our cities. But I was elected as SCA board president this last week, so that is an amazing privilege and honor. And so there's going to be a lot of focus time for me there. I do have a special request. Could I take your pictures, do a screenshot of you guys smiling? This has been a really special space for me. If you guys would be willing to do that, I'll do a really quick screenshot if you want to put your face on it.
Yeah,
So,
if we could have you turn your cameras on for just a moment, that would be wonderful.
so let me know when you're ready. Okay, so ready? I'm gonna click, smile. Lovely. Thank you so much. You guys have become my friends, and thank you so much for the conversation, the camaraderie, the collaboration. It's been fantastic. And the leadership is great too, by the way. Thanks, Dana and Nancy. So, and Claire and Dorsal. Oh yeah, everyone. Thank you.
And Tracy, when you came in, you refused to do anything halfway. You were always so prepared for the meetings. In fact, catching things, noticing things that maybe some of us hadn't. And you always had great questions, which just shows the amount of care and concern you have for the work that's being done. We are going to miss having you here, but we are very fortunate that you are going to be our SCA president for 2025. I look forward to great things from you there. And you're always welcome back anytime.
And other board changes that you should be aware of as well. So Mayor Sean Kelly stepped off, and Councilmember Victoria Schroff is stepping in. And we're all very familiar with Victoria. She's been with us, sitting into the meetings, getting up to speed with our work. So just really excited to have her formally joining us. And then as alternate, it will be Council Member Sid Dawson from Maple Valley as well. And then Colleen Branch Schluter at the City of Burien she has not gone into retirement, she has gone into refirement. So she has left the City of Burien, and Anya Zupancic, who joined us today, is going to be serving as City of Burien's official alternate. So very excited to have Anya here. And she does serve as the Human Services Manager now at the City of Burien. So welcome, Anya, and thank you for joining us. That is all of the official board changes I am aware of going into 2025. I have a few more updates for you regarding the chair, vice chair election. So we will hold those next meeting at our February meeting. And so far I have Mayor Backus and Mayor Ralph running for re-election. If there are any additional nominations, I would be pleased to accept those now or by email by the end of next week. So thank you. And then board member check-ins. So I have met with many of you board members over the last couple months, but I would love the opportunity to meet with those I haven't. So I will send a follow-up email to those folks that I haven't yet been able to connect with, so we can get something on the books. This does not need to be in person, but would just like to connect with you to hear how things are going with Skip for you. Regarding the policy on communicating when projects change. So based on the discussion at our last meeting in November, I put the policy in writing and included that in your agenda packet for this meeting sent last Friday at 5:15, so you can find it there. The Housing Capital Fund council presentations, just a reminder, you'll be seeing me at your city councils over the next few months, February through April, I think is our last one. So don't be surprised if you see us there. We're just seeking concurrence for those Housing Capital Fund allocations. Related to the Housing Capital Fund, wanted to give you a brief update on TWG's Pandian at Star Lake in Kent. So this is a project that the board has recommended funding for from the 2023 and 2024 funding rounds. The project did not secure the needed public and private funds this past funding round that it needed to move forward with construction. And so the timeline for beginning construction has been moved out until they can secure enough funds to fill their $30 million gap. So the SKIP awards will assist the project in their future applications to the county and to other funders. And so also our award is good through March of 2027. Which should give them time to fill that gap. The sponsor's also working on a plan to with their financial counsel on their next steps in order to address that. And I was able to connect with City of Kent since they are the hosting city, and they are supportive to proceed with the award and was seeking concurrence from the funding city councils. The project is providing those badly needed 30% AMI units, and they're larger family-sized units. They're near light rail as well, and so TWG has been good partners. So from City of Kent's eyes, they do want to continue to support this project, but wanted to give the board that update and that we will be connecting with folks about how to get this project the support it needs. So happy to answer questions on that particular item, but I have just a couple more updates as well.
Any questions on that for Claire? Okay.
Okay. And then at our next board meeting, you will be hearing from the Washington State Housing Finance Commission on an introduction to the low-income housing tax credit, which is a very complicated program. But I thought since we are now funding these LIHTC projects, it would be helpful for the board to hear a little bit about how those decisions get made and how those tax credits get allocated. And then this week, the Department of Commerce released a rental registry study, which was mandated by the 2023-2025 legislature. And if you're interested, I would encourage you to check it out, and I will drop the link in the chat for you. And let's see, make it for everyone. All right. All right, should be there. And then lastly, there is a forthcoming opportunity at the King County Affordable Housing Committee who will be seeking to fill a handful of vacancies this year. So be on the lookout for more information about that opportunity. And that is all of the announcements I have. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any announcements they would like to share with us today? All right, it does not appear that we have anything to share this afternoon.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
have
sorry.
one. I'm like, as an HDC board member, I think there's an event I'm supposed to be plugging. There's a symposium in Bellevue, at Bellevue College, HDC's Affordable Housing Symposium. It's the 3rd annual one, looking at, a bunch of things. I can't read this whole thing, but looking across the affordable housing crisis in King County. So that's on Wednesday, January 29th from 9 a.m. to 1:30. If you all haven't received an invite separately, let me know and I can make sure this gets to you.
And I will share that housing is maybe the #1 topic of this U.S. Conference of Mayors. Some interesting data that was shared today at lunch that actually shows the need for housing through the generations declining. That's nationwide. I don't think that's the case in our region, but over the course of the next couple of decades, they're showing because the boomers some of us boomers will be gone, and some of the other generations are smaller. And so it was a very interesting remarks today. I'm trying to see if I took some photos of the slides, but I will take a look at it and get information to you by our next board meeting. Yeah. But lots of conversation here too.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. The shrinking cities of the industrial belt were the big thing maybe about 20 years ago. And, where are we now as we project outwards? Where we will need housing and where we will have too much and what we're going to do about it.
People just gonna have to move.
See y'all in Kansas? Is that the tagline?
I'll go back to where I was born. All right, anyone else? Well, then we were very efficient today and we will adjourn early. I hope you all have a great Friday. Tracy, thank you again for your time with us, your heart, your knowledge, your enthusiasm for learning. We really appreciate you. We will miss you a lot. I will miss having you in this space, but I know that you're my president this year for SCH. So that is a win.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate y'all so much.
Thanks, everyone. I hope it's warmer there than it is here. It's pretty cold. They moved the inauguration inside for that very reason. I will not be here for the inauguration. Didn't sound interesting to me at all. So I will be flying home on Sunday. I think Dana does as well, as does Armando and Tom. So they're
And Mary Lou, she there too?
Mary Lou is here too, and Angela Burney. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good representation from
Good.
our part
Yeah.
of the world.
Good
I
representation.
hope you get some King County delegation photos.
Oh yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. All right, everyone. Thank you. Take care.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.